that button, feel the love, it's a treat. Like, come on now, subscribe. Join the party, baby, ride the vibe. One click of love, keep the spirit alive. Hit that button and let's all thrive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Homewood in the building. 15208 412 forever. Road boy for life. Come holla at your boy. All right, I'm back, y'all. I had to go get some new equipment. Haven't been on here for a couple days. Glad to see everybody's still here. Nobody abandoned the ship yet. But anyway, let's get into this video. As y'all can read, first off, let me start by saying this is fair use for this video, and anything that's in this video is fair use. I'd like to give a big shout out to Detective Myers for having this video and supplying this video so that I can bring it to you just like they brought it to me. So y'all can see by this title, racist father brutally tortures, unalives, and sodomizes his daughter. It's a true crime documentary. This is my first time seeing this video, so we are going to learn together about the fate and what happens to this man. So let's get into it.
The city crime lab found Deja's DNA on his genitals.
And that was the hardest thing to deal with. It's to be in Deja's shoes to see her own father take advantage of her, and she was helpless.
What if your child's last meeting with their father turned out to be deadly? When 18-year-old Deja Bosby agreed to meet with her father on a Sunday evening in March of 2016, no one could guess that just a few hours later, her body would be found in a motel room in what cops would call a scene of total horror and betrayal. Warning: this story contains shocking details that might be too much for sensitive people, especially those who find it hard to hear about violence and sex crimes against young people. Friends, before I keep going with this tough story, I'd like to ask you to write in the comments which city you're watching this video from. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. This story needs to be heard so that similar tragedies don't happen again, and so that Deja's memory stays alive in our hearts. Deja Bosby was born on September 23, 1997, in Kansas City, Missouri. She was the second of 4 kids born to Lita and Jerry Bosby. From early childhood, Deja showed amazing abilities. She was known as a loving, full of life girl with a sweet smile that could brighten any room. As a little girl, she was always curious and creative. She loved singing, dancing, and playing with her siblings. However, Deja's family life was far from perfect. Her parents had met as teenagers, but their relationship was rocky from the start. Deja's father, Jerry, already had a criminal record going back to 1994, with court papers showing problems with drugs, many Deweys, and violent behavior.
So, from the door, this man had problems already, With that being said, I don't, when you come across people like that, it's a choice that you have to make, to where if you want to stay with this person or you want to leave this person alone, So if, and I'm not condoning anything, but if you get red flags on something, don't ignore them. Because most people in relationships, they do tend to ignore red flags. But, don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. Let's get back into this.
When Deja was 8 years old, in 2005, her father admitted to domestic violence charges, including attacking a family member. He hit and kicked the victim, even throwing a TV at them. Jerry also broke a restraining order that had been filed against him.
Issues.
The following year, when Deja was 9, Jerry was getting treatment for drug addiction at the Ozark Correctional Center. During this time, he wrote a letter to a Jackson County judge asking forgiveness for breaking some rule. In this letter, he wrote, "I miss my kids badly and can't wait to get out to see how they're doing. I never wanted my children to go through such a shock and be around strangers." By the time Deja was 11 years old, in 2008, her parents officially divorced. Despite his troubled past, Jerry stayed in his kids' lives, although Deja spent most of her time with her mom and siblings. Even with these difficult family circumstances, young Deja stayed positive and found ways to enjoy her childhood. From an early age, teachers noticed her bright mind and eagerness to learn. In elementary school, she was already showing signs of the academic success.
What possesses a man, supposed to be a man, a melanated man at that? What possesses you to touch your child in a way that you're supposed to be touching your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever? What makes a man turn on his flesh and blood and do the kind of things to your own flesh and blood that you would do to your wife or your girlfriend, like I just said? What kind of man does that? What kind of person does that? Is it a mental thing? Is it an incest thing, or is it just a choice thing? You know, because all of them are choices. If you indulge in committing incest, that's a choice you make. You know, if you choose to harm another person, that's a choice that you made. But I just want to know what makes a person want to do this to a child. Let's get back into this.
She would later achieve. Deja was the kind of kid who would help others, share what she had, and always offered kindness to those around her. When she was around 13, Deja started her own YouTube channel. She called herself Goofy and loved making funny videos to share online. This creative outlet helped her develop her rare gift for finding joy even in the hardest times. Teachers and friends noticed her energy, kindness, and special way of never treating strangers as outsiders. She greeted everyone with real warmth. As she entered high school, Deja became a real star at Southwest High School. What she achieved was truly amazing. She joined a special program called the Early College Academy, which let her earn a college degree while still in high school. Thanks to this program, when she graduated, Deja was set to get not only a high school diploma, but also a 2-year college degree, something that takes a lot of hard work and focus.
That's what's up.
Her school life was super busy. Orchestra director Alan Sturdivant said she was full of energy and perfect for school groups. Deja did track and field, played volleyball and basketball, was a cheerleader, and even joined Junior Rock. She was part of the school's Red Storm Orchestra, where she showed off her musical skills. Despite her packed schedule of after-school activities, Deja found time to work at Foot Locker and stayed in the top 5 students of her class. By spring of 2016, she was about to graduate as salutatorian, the second best student in her class.
Look at her, y'all. She's just having fun doing her content, not knowing that a monster that she called dad, you know, this is someone she shows love to, would even think. I guarantee it caught her off guard too. She wouldn't even think that somebody she loves, her parent figure, would do some shit like that. Let's get back into it.
Colleges across the country wanted her. Deja had gotten more than 12 scholarship offers and planned to go to Grambling State University in Louisiana.
Oh, she was on her way.
One of her friends later called Deja a rose that grew from a crack in concrete, referring to Tupac Shakur's poem about a beautiful flower that grows where it seems impossible. This really fit Deja's life, because behind all her success was a tough family story that she had overcome through determination and positivity. According to her teacher Haley Steele, "From the moment I met her, I knew she was special. She had been through a lot. Her family life was hard, but she was the most positive person I had ever met." On Sunday, March 20th, 2016, Deja's life ended in a way that shocked the entire Kansas City community. Around 8:30 in the evening, having just finished her shift at Foot Locker and returned home in her work uniform, Deja got a phone call from her father. They talked briefly, and soon Jerry picked his daughter up from home. According to one of Deja's closest friends, the reason for this meeting was likely that she wanted to convince her father to go to rehab for his drug addiction.
You know you love when you got a problem and your own child tries to get you to go into some type of rehab to get help, because she sees it on you, but she loves you that much. Sorry, I had to turn my foot massager on. But she loves you that much to even come with you to meet you somewhere and to sit down and talk to you. Try to get you some help. This is somebody she trusted. This is her dad. She's not thinking nothing else. This is her father. She's not thinking this man's getting ready to do something to her. She's not even thinking about that.
Despite her father's troubled past, Deja still cared about him and really wanted to help him get better. This caring for loved ones was just how she was. No matter what, she saw the best in people and believed they could change. About an hour after Jerry picked up Deja from home, security cameras recorded him walking into the lobby of the 4 Acres Motel on Hickman Mills Drive. The recording clearly shows him renting room 253 at 9:30 in the evening. Then cameras caught him returning to his car, which then drives toward the rented room. The next footage shows both Deja and her father entering this room. What happened behind the closed door of the motel room during the next 6 hours, investigators could only figure out later, based on evidence and medical reports. But one thing was clear: security cameras didn't lie. Between 9:30 in the evening and 3:30 in the morning of the next day, no one except Deja and Jerry entered or left room 253. At 3:30 in the morning on March 21st, cameras recorded someone matching Jerry's description leaving the motel on foot. He was wearing a black jacket and gray pants, heading south on Hickman Mills Drive, having left his car in the motel parking.
Why would you check in knowing that the cameras see you with a car, but then all of a sudden you come walking out and you just keep walking? So yeah, they're gonna call the police on you. Something's in my eye. They're going to call the police on you, man. So you might as well just go ahead and just... I don't understand the mind frame of people, but yet, then again, you got to understand, this man has a history of drug use.
Lot. About 10 minutes walk away, the same person, now clearly Jerry, was caught on camera at the nearest convenience store buying cigarettes. He was wearing the same black jacket, gray pants, and yellow shirt. After this, Jerry never returned to the motel. No one else entered room 253 either. Deja stayed there alone, already dead, while her killer calmly bought cigarettes and disappeared into the night, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror. On Monday, March 21st, 2016, around 12:15 in the afternoon, a normal morning for a maid at the 4 Acres Motel turned into a nightmare. Starting her daily cleaning duties, she opened the door to room 253 and found a scene that would later be described by Union County Sheriff.
So he rented the room for the weekend. Rented the room for the weekend. and didn't return. You didn't even check out. Which is weird because you're supposed to check out. So how didn't he check out? You know, so I guess they just said, fuck it, he rented it for the weekend. He's still there, he'll check out. But come Monday, what the hell is that sound? Is that my chair? There's some weird stuff going on up in here, y'all. But
Is that your foot thing?
did you hear it?
Is that your foot thing? Yeah.
Eddie Cathy as like something from the most horrifying horror movie. On the bed lay the lifeless body of 18-year-old Deja Bosby.
Wow.
She was lying on her back with many cuts on her forehead, neck,
Wow.
lips, and nose. Especially disturbing were the marks on her neck and face. Experts would later say these were signs of strangling, where the killer had closed off her airways with his hands, leaving finger mark.
This is your own fucking daughter, man. This dude did this too, man. It's people like that, man, that really get my blood up, man. It's just crazy. Like, you just want to just find them and just choke the shit out of them, like they did the victims. But this is his daughter that he did this to. You left her there face down. With strangulation marks around her neck. Or what do they call them? Asphyxiation marks. There you go.
And causing bleeding in her eyes. Deja's clothing was clearly messed up, showing someone tried to move the body after death. Her blouse was unbuttoned, several buttons torn off and scattered across the bed. Her pants were only partly fastened, as if someone had clumsily tried to dress the dead body. Her underwear was twisted, her hair strangely tucked under her clothing. Everything about this scene screamed that something terrible had happened. The maid immediately reported her horrific discovery to the motel manager, who called the police. The Kansas City cops who arrived were shocked by what they saw. Even for experienced officers who had seen many crimes, this scene was especially tough. That same day, not knowing about the tragic discovery, Deja's mother, Lita, worried about her daughter's absence, filed a missing person report. More than 30 hours had passed since Deja had left with her father, and she hadn't come home or answered calls and messages. The mother's worry was completely justified. Soon, the police delivered news that broke her heart. Her daughter had been found dead in a motel room. Police immediately started investigating. Given the condition of the body, investigators carefully examined the crime scene, collecting all possible evidence. They also asked for recordings from the motel's security cameras, which later turned out to be crucial for solving the crime. Deja's body was sent to the morgue for...
I can't imagine getting that call, that knock on the door. You know that something has happened to one of your loved ones, especially a child, due to the fact that they met harm in the hands of somebody that they really, you know, that was a authority figure in their life. But you know, this is all, you know, I'm just giving my opinion on it. But it's sad, man. It's sad that this world is just turning itself upside down, and we're seeing it. And it's like there's nothing we can do. Nothing. There's nothing we can do but be prepared for any and everything to come your way in this world today that we know it. This right here, I don't know what year this happened, but sick.
For examination. The Union County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying, This was truly an especially cruel and cold-blooded murder of an innocent child. This case emotionally drained everyone involved. We continue to grieve with Deja's mother and pray for her. The public was shocked by the horrible crime. Deja's school, friends, and loved ones couldn't believe what had happened.
She's a pretty young lady.
Promising young woman, full of hope and plans for the future, be cut short in such a cruel way? And who could do this terrible crime to a girl who always tried to see the best in people? During questioning, Jerry admitted that he had picked up Deja and rented a room at the motel, but claimed that he did this for her and her friends so they could have fun. According to him, he stayed at the motel for only 20 to 30 minutes, after which he left on foot because his car wouldn't start. However, the video recordings completely proved this was a lie. He had stayed in the room for 6 hours. On May 5th, 2016, the Jackson County Medical...
What? I don't understand, people. You know, in this day and age, there's a camera everywhere. There's a camera everywhere. So for you to just sit there and say, oh, I only stayed in the room for 30 minutes. Dude, you know motels have cameras. No, they got cameras. Now, if they work, don't know. But you know motels got cameras. Because motels are places that basically are, you know, people go get rooms to sell, you know, to sell their narcotics or whatever they do. You know what I mean? That's basically what little motels is for. Little out of the way motels. You know, even hotels is that's happening in hotels. But let's get back in to see what else this fucking monster did.
Medical examiner's office shared the autopsy results. Deja's cause of death was strangling, and the exam also showed clear signs of anal sexual assault. Marks on her body showed a violent struggle.
This dude strangled his daughter, sodomized her, penetrated her anally. She was only 18. For you to do that to your child, you really, 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 you must have really hated her or something, or this has been going on inside his head for the longest. This must have been going on inside his head for the longest. That one day he was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and act upon my feelings for this. Oh my God, man.
Bleeding in her eyes and finger marks on her face showed that she had fought for her life while being strangled.
Wow.
Police got a warrant to take DNA samples from Jerry, who completely denied any sexual contact with his daughter. Over the next few months, investigators carefully gathered evidence. Many of Deja's close ones immediately suspected her father's involvement in her death. Deja's aunt, Gay Martin, later said she was helpless. Her own father took advantage of this.
Yep.
In April 2016, a month after the tragedy, Deja's mother got a restraining order against Jerry, fearing for her family's safety. On September 19, 2016, 6 months after Deja's death, the crime lab presented DNA
this is in 2019. Okay.
They were undeniable. Jerry's DNA was found in Deja's mouth and anus.
Wow. So, this dude put his eggplant inside his daughter's mouth. And this is crazy. Them drugs had him on some other things. But notice this right here, y'all. See this right here? That little slope in his head, that comes from brain damage. Like part of his skull was removed. Right there. Y'all see that? Part of it looked like part of his skull was removed.
and her DNA was found on his genitals. The odds of a mistake were next to impossible. Based on this evidence, Jerry Bosby was officially charged with first-degree murder, sodomy, incest, and sexual assault. Almost 3 years passed between the charges and the start of the trial. In July 2019, Jerry Bosby's trial began and lasted 4 days. During the trial, the Jackson County prosecutor used a powerful visual method to show the jury Deja suffering. She set a timer for 30 seconds, the time it takes for a person to pass out from strangling, and then explained that it takes another 3 to 5 minutes to die. This is how long she fought. It's a long time to be without breath.
No, sometimes the justice system works, and sometimes it don't. You know, because being a melanated man in this country, you know, the justice system, it tends to lean away from us. You know, but when it does work, it works, and I applaud it when it works. But when it don't work, it's like things like this that happen. You know, the judicial system kicked in and did what it was supposed to do. You know, so big ups to them for doing that. But this young lady fought for her life against her own flesh and blood. Against her own flesh and blood, she fought for her life. There was no win. Knowing there was no win, this man could have been, you know, he could have been feeling the effects of any narcotic that he took. You know, it could have altered his thought process. You know, it could have made him see things that wasn't there, or see things, you know, that using narcotics do. I don't know.
Said the prosecutor, slamming her phone down on the table. Mary's defense put forward a shocking theory that the relationship between father and daughter might have been consensual, which caused outrage in the courtroom. The defense attorney asked, why would she go to a motel with her father if she didn't want to have a consensual sexual relationship?
First of all, stupid, idiot. Now that just pissed me off. Why would you even sit there as a defense attorney? Why would you sit there and say, oh, she went to the motel to have a consensual relationship with her father? No, she probably went to the hotel because this is her dad. I'm gonna go spend some time with my dad. You know, my dad got a room. You know, I'm gonna go spend some time with my dad. We don't know. It could have been. We don't. They didn't say if it had 2 beds or 1 bed. They didn't say. But this is an 18-year-old girl. You know, she, knowing her dad got problems, she wants to go spend some time with her dad. Okay, well, her dad, you know, he got a little hotel room because he might have been in in between places to live or having a place to stay. So, but for a defense attorney to sit up there and say she went to the motel just to have a consensual relationship with her own dad, that's crazy.
Relationship with him. Why would she stay there for hours? Most teenagers would.
What do you mean? Why would she stay there for hours?
Or alcohol. She went there to have a secret meetup with her father. She's not a victim.
Now this is a lawyer saying that. This is a defense attorney saying this about this girl. Oh, she went there to get drugs and alcohol. Or she went there to meet up and have a consensual relationship with her dad. Come on, man. Come on. That whoever said that, they need to be disbarred. For real. They need to be disbarred. That's crazy. You saying that knowing that you see the defensive wounds on her body from her fighting trying to get her dad off of her. Yeah, he probably outweighed her. He is stronger than her. We all know that, but she still fought. So how is that consensual when you're fighting? When you're fighting to get somebody off of you, and they overpowered you. He probably overpowered her by 10-1. You can look at her and tell she's not really that big. She's your average size teenager. And this is somebody she trusted, and that's what probably made it so hard for her to even fight, because this is somebody that gave her life.
She was a willing participant. The closing statement was delivered by Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker, showing the jury photographs from the crime scene. Everywhere we look, we find the defendant. His DNA was all over Deja.
Look at this goofball. Look at him. Look disturbed. He looked disturbed. Look at this right here. He looked disturbed. That goofy look on his face.
Throughout the trial, Jerry showed no emotion, only lowering his head when the jury delivered the guilty verdict. In September 2019, he was sentenced to 2 life terms for murder and
good,
plus an additional 4 years for incest and 7 years for sexual assault.
Oh, he gonna pass away in there.
Statement, which lasted nearly 45 minutes, Jerry mentioned his daughter only once, calling her a star. But this fleeting praise only highlighted the horror of what followed. With cold composure, he referred to the murder of his own daughter as an unfortunate.
Like I stated before, y'all see that right there? It looked like it filled in a little bit more. But that right there, there was a dent right there. It looked like it filled in some. I don't know. You know how I do have someone I do call family. He did have brain surgery, and they did have to cut part of his skull off, and he did have that little dent, that same little dent in his head that I showed y'all earlier. He did have that. So this man was mentally disturbed. This man was mentally disturbed.
That's not because no dent in his head.
But I'm saying he besides the drug usage, and the mother already put restraining orders on him. When you go back and watch the video, you'll see the dent in his head. I'm just saying, I don't know.
That is no excuse to take your baby's life.
It's not, but
occurrence, as if he were talking about a minor mishap rather than a life he had taken. The incest virus made its way to me. He uttered a phrase that made the blood of those present freeze in their veins. With these words, he seemed to be trying to shift the blame to some external force rather than acknowledging his conscious choice. Throughout his speech, Jerry talked about his difficult childhood.
Yeah, that's what he said
health issues,
in the courtroom.
racism, and conspiracy theories in the justice system.
He gonna say it's
Attempting to present
unfortunate.
himself as a victim of circumstances. His
He tried to
words
paint
contained
himself
neither
as a
remorse
victim.
nor acceptance of responsibility for what he had done. In her victim impact statement, Deja's sister, Leknia Bosby, described their childhood as hell on earth. It felt like we were unworthy of a good life, but she was determined. Her happiness in a world of evil. I wanted to be just like her. Life was traumatic for Deja, and it ended traumatically. About Jerry, she said simply and piercingly, he was supposed to protect her, and instead he killed her. He's a monster.
Facts.
The memory of Deja continues to live in the hearts of those who knew her. At graduation, a seat was saved for her, and her mother accepted Deja's honorary diploma. In Penn Valley, a garden was created in Deja's honor, where friends and family came to plant flowers. Strangely, after the graduation of 2016, both the 4 Acres Motel and Southwest High School were closed, as if the last places where Deja spent her life died along with her. Don't click away just yet.
So the
This
high
video
school and
isn't
the
over.
motel closed?
Another equally gripping story is about to begin in just a moment. A case that will leave you just as shocked and moved as Deja's tragedy. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next. One of Deja's friends said after her death, "I have to continue her legacy. I have to be successful not
That's
just for
what's up.
myself, but for her. Everything I will do from now on, I will do for her." This case especially touches the heart because Deja had her whole life ahead of her. She was successful, determined, motivated, kind, and brilliant. She had everything, the whole world before her, but her future was cruelly taken away by her own father, the person who should have protected her. Your support can help prevent similar tragedies. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment below. Share this video with everyone you know so that Deja's story is never forgotten.
And now our top story, new details in a heartbreaking crime. A 15-year-old girl.
You know, it's a shame because there's no excuse for harming your own flesh and blood, especially your child. Especially your child. There's no excuse. None whatsoever. There's no excuse for that. It was a choice you made to do that. It was a choice he made. He had it all planned out. Had it all planned out. He knew exactly what he was going to do, when he was going to do it, how he was going to do it, and where he was going to do it. You know, it's a shame that an innocent life was taken. Condolences to the mother and the rest of the family. This man does not need to see the light of day ever again. Ever again. He don't even deserve for you to shine a flashlight in his cell. He should not see no type of light at all. I don't know the outcome of it, but I am going to dig and try to find some more information out on this. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching my day ones. Appreciate y'all. For everybody else, welcome to the channel. Welcome. So, but before we go, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Let's bang them thumbs up. Bang that like button till it break, until it starts smoking. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. What's your opinions on this? I mean, I'm quite sure everybody's opinions is going to be the same. But, you know, we sit back and we watch these horrific events happen. And, you know, for we report these to reach out to people so that you can be prepared for anything that's happening in the world. You can see it because you've seen it. You know, you've seen a report on it, you've seen some commentary on it, you've seen a reaction video on it, so therefore you know what to look for, whether it be DV, you know, SA, or RP, you know, whether it be any of them, you know, you know the signs to look for. So just be prepared for any and everything to happen. So on that one, y'all, that's my time. Love y'all. Peace. Stay blessed.